everything Luffy tries to do is just unsuccessful. And that's what you want to see from your top one. That's what you want to see from the dude who's supposed to be at the top of the world. And I love that Luffy's commenting on it too. Because it's not just that, oh, I'm not landing. He said, hey, I was able to hit you before. Like, what's different now? And the difference is Emu locked in.
What Luffy's doing is moving his limbs lead at the last second to not get hit. That's what he did to Kaito, and that's what Kaito was getting frustrated about. And I like the nod. Luffy tried to do the same thing to Emu, and he did. But guess what? What Kaito couldn't do and hit Luffy at the end, Emu still hits Luffy. It didn't matter.
It's kind of like Emu's all over the place. Because in the beginning of the arc, he was using Conqueror's Haki like nonstop. You get me? And now he's not really using it except in like very, very, very specific moments. And they're like usually guest moments now.
I really did like the fight sequence here between Luffy and Emu. It was goofy, it was quirky, but it also still really, really, really did a good job, in my opinion, to show the gap in strength here. Luffy is consistently on the back foot throughout this fight. Every time he tries to avoid anything, he gets hit. And it's not just that he gets hit. He's getting hit with stuff that, like, I don't even know how to describe what Emu did. Like, he basically just whipped out a gear, like a Luffy move. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, what's the name of the move where it bounces? Is Culverine? Yeah, Culverine. Like, this is Culverine. Like, he just did it. Like, casually just did Culverine with flames to stretch his arms. I was like, hold on now. We've already talked a little bit about, like, how Emu's ability seems to be this other, whatever you imagine, in a dark form. But, like, it's happening live. Like, he's whipping out Luffy type gear fourth, gear third, whatever type techniques. So I was like, yo, this is really, really, really dope. I like that. I like that as a development for Emu. And like, again, everything Luffy tries to do is just unsuccessful. And that's what you want to see from your top one. That's what you want to see from the dude who's supposed to be at the top of the world. And I love that Luffy's commenting on it too. Because it's not just that, oh, I'm not landing. He said, hey, I was able to hit you before. Like, what's different now? And the difference is Emu locked in. Like, you caught me off guard. I wasn't paying attention. I was fighting distracted, whatever. I'm locked in. You're not getting nothing off. You're not getting nothing off on me now. And I like that. It reminded me of Katakuri and Luffy back in the day. Even the fact that he's using his ability on him, kind of a thing. It reminded me of Katakuri. And then these Omen heat-seeking, like, missiles that are, like, they're sentient, seemingly. Like, I just love the kit that Emu seems to have and how he fights. Because he's not just defending with Haki, he's defending with his Delphi, he's defending with the Haki, he's defending with the weapons, he's in air, he's speed blitzing Luffy, he's getting behind him, and I like to see that. Like, I like to see Luffy struggle. Even if it seems to be kidding and joking and stuff, like the Jet Gatling, you can tell Luffy's struggling to keep up and deal with everything that Emu's whipping out on him. Pause. And in general, I love it, man. I really do. I'll save a little bit more of my deeper thoughts for that later, but I really do like the versatility. Lawrence mentioned it, the versatility of Emu, and just the fact that Luffy is struggling so much. I know it's just a brief kind of moment here. We'll get deeper into struggles later in the chapter, but even just the setup here is like Luffy's very clearly not at any sort of advantage, and I like that.
I definitely, like you said, I got Kaito vibes because it goes to other arguments. I'm not trying to bring them up right now, but it goes to other arguments we had when people used to come at like Kaito struggling so much to hurt Luffy. And I brought up a while back, but what did Luffy do? When you look at the panel where Kaito said that, and that's why I found that Oda did this and it's a nice nod. It shows that what Emu was able to do more. If you look at back in the panel when Kaito, I don't know if a chapter or a panel when it's at, when Kaito mentions that he's having difficulty hitting Luffy, it's because, again, Kaito can see the future. He has future sight. So he's targeting Luffy, and Luffy's dodging it. What Luffy's doing is moving his limbs lead at the last second to not get hit. That's what he did to Kaito, and that's what Kaito was getting frustrated about. And I like the nod. Luffy tried to do the same thing to Emu, and he did. But guess what? What Kaito couldn't do and hit Luffy at the end, Emu still hits Luffy. It didn't matter if Luffy dodged at the last second with Kaito. Emu's at a higher level, showing that even if Luffy able to move his limbs at the last second with Kaito's at future sight, Emu's like, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to hit you. And that just shows Emu's kind of entirely different level, like either observation or fighting skill, reflexes, whatever. He's just above everybody. And again, it shows like how versatile he is. And we're going to get later into that. He literally made his attack like Luffy and Kaito's in his attack. He literally changed trajectory. Like, I literally saw Luffy's and Kaito's attack at the same time, but way more powerful. It looked like he barely touched Luffy, and Luffy got set, rocketing down and exploded to the ground. So just like, again, like, Emu's fighting style, we're probably going to see almost everybody's fighting style in Emu. I'm not saying all abilities, just every main person that Luffy encountered as a main protagonist in a fight, we're probably gonna see Karatari. I mean, not Karatari. We're gonna see Emu just whip out something similar, just so that everything that Luffy's facing is all at once. He's this guy that I can do everything. I'm capable of almost everything in that combat wise, and Haki and ability wise. Just like it just shows, like yo, it's just like how much of a menace Emu is, and that's what we're getting with Oda showing us. It's just like yo, we're seeing it more and more.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning, mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm shining so bright, so bright. Don't come and try to share some of this light now. Give me a beat and I control it like a maestro. Ladies on a mission, they be trying to get me wiped up. Shawty, wait a minute, can't tell if I like ya. Gotta make sure you know how to shake it like a bartender. Team with me and they all winners. And you know we ballin' all winners.
I do want to talk about Emu a little bit. Lionel was hitting some great points. Emu seems to be the culmination of all of Luffy's like antagonists within an arc, especially the major ones. But the main villain I keep going back to, and it's because of the way Emu's fighting, happens to be Enel. When we first saw Enel, he did use his devil fruit non-stop. And it seems like Emu is using his devil fruit non-stop. And when he finally uses his blade, we know he's a master at it, the same way like Enel is a pretty good staff user. But when you combine the staff with the devil fruit, it seems to just make him that much stronger. And it's like, we're not seeing a lot of Haki from him right now. We can suggest that like when Luffy probably, let's say, used Future Sight when he was about to get punched by Emu, that Emu just used his devil fruit and probably didn't use Future Sight in order to punch him after getting dodged. So if Emu starts using all of his Hakis at their most extreme limits, I could see this fight being like super no diff. And I know people are going to hate me saying that because it's Luffy, he's the main antagonist. Emu just got punched in the face. But this is also why I had such a huge gripe. I think it was last chapter with Luffy punching Emu in base form. And I was like, yo, this kind of ruined the chapter for me at the end because Emu happens to be this strong and this great. And he got punched by a Luffy in base form and Emu bled. And then all of a sudden, Luffy goes into Gear 5 and he can't even touch Emu. And like Sebastian said, he locked in. But when I look at this, it's like, no. He didn't have the same off guard moment that he had with Loki. The dude was literally screaming out of his mind about Joy Boy, which is crazy. He's screaming another man's name. I can understand why Loki got the hit off because Emu wasn't paying attention. But last chapter, Emu literally looked at Luffy coming towards him. And then he got punched with a punch that actually takes some time to hit. It's kind of like Emu's all over the place. Because in the beginning of the arc, he was using Conqueror's Haki like nonstop. You get me? And now he's not really using it except in like very, very, very specific moments. And they're like usually guest moments now. So I think Emu's powers works more like Big Mom's too, because the flames can turn into like her homies. And this is just dope. I don't know what to say, but like his Devil Fruit looks like it can literally do anything. He can increase his size of person with his Devil Fruit. He can increase his reach. He can use different weapons. We seen the glaive. And then we saw the Stigma Sword that he used against Loki. It's like he can create almost any type of weapon out of his Omen as well. I don't even know if his wings are real. I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe his wings are made out of the Omen too. I'm just looking at this ability and I'm just like, I think I'm so impressed by the ability itself. And he's using it in, like, he's overusing it in a weird way. Like, he sort of looks Devil Fruit reliant, but I think it's more like Luffy's Haki can't compete with his, and he only needs to turn it up to where Luffy's is at. That way his Devil Fruit can just be super effective, and he doesn't have to expend Haki if he doesn't need to. So I think I am super, super impressed by Emu right now. He looks crazy impressive. I like, you look at the Loki fight, and it's like, he's not fighting any differently. He's just having a reaction to Luffy in Gear 5 and like being kind of caught off guard by the resemblance of Joy Boy. Because that's the only thing that really like nerfs him, which is crazy because we're all sitting here thinking, yo, that time limit is going to kick in anytime soon. Yo, he probably degenerating as the time keeps wearing down. And it turns out it just takes Joy Boy's name and a little bit of resemblance in order for him to get nerfed. And that might be the most homosexual thing ever. So it's like, it's like, yo, brother, this guy lives rent free in your head. But I think that's a shout out to Joy Boy. I think we deserve to shout out Joy Boy. You know, we had the top 30, and Lawrence and me were like kind of debating on where Joy Boy should go before Emu, after Emu, and you know, I'm still on Emu's side for now. I will say that. Emu did get the dub. He looks very strong indeed, but I can see now why Joy Boy could probably be in front of Emu. I will say that, but that's really all I got. So, I forgot to mention the heat seeking, the tracking omens. That was just insane. Have we seen somebody have tracking before like that? I'm trying to think. No, right?
No.
Not off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Only Frankie.
No, me either.
Only the gag with Frankie, but that's, you know, him just running. But no.
I really do like how they had like a Dragon Ball Z moment, by the way, where like Luffy tried to tee off on Emu, and then Emu like did instant teleportation behind Luffy.
Yeah.
And then Luffy was like, "What?" And then he tried to like stab him, and then Luffy did instant transmission behind Emu, and then they, you know, he didn't even do a named attack, and then Emu's like blocking with the glaive. I thought that was so hard, bro.
Did it remind you of the Budokai 3 back
Yo, Budokai, yo.
It really did.
I'm trying to remember the sound effect it used to make, bro. It used to be like, yeah.
But I'll say this too, though. I was really impressed by Luffy using Jet Gatling on the Omen flames that were tracking him. He hit those things like with supreme accuracy, bro. Like he was like Mayweather, like in prime, dog. Like I was very impressed that he was able to do that.
They were shocked that they got caught. It was so funny to me. They were like, "Oh!"
Did you hold on? If you go to the page right now, if you look at the bottom right Omen flame that gets punched by Luffy, look at its face.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The thing is, I assume they're the ones screaming out, like, "What?" Like it's them, like not Luffy. Like Luffy does the Jet Gatling, and they're getting blown up, and they're like, "Ah!" It's so funny to me. They're like Cell Juniors, man.
Yeah, they're like Cell Juniors, but it's kind of crazy. You know what they give me too? The Omen flames. They give me Soul Eater vibes. You remember when they used to have to eat the souls?
Yeah.
It gives me Soul Eater vibes. Emu, dog. We got more chapter. I think there's a lot more to talk about. So